Good evening, I'm Amadine Obere. Now, the death of popular Nigerian singer Ileri Oluwa Oladimeji Aloba, popularly known as MOHBAD, has caused a lot of controversies. Nigerians are seeking for justice under the hashtag Justice for MOHBAD. We're seeing protests in some states which are still calling for justice and asking the police to do all that is necessary to bring to book and to conclusion the issues surrounding the circumstances of his death. Tonight I'm joined by legal practitioner Mr. Samuel Iyenseken Jr. to do some justice to the legality of the matter, what the police should be doing, how Nigerians should be reacting online, and the way forward to ensuring that justice is done for MOHBAD. Mr. Samuel Iyenseken, good evening and welcome to Stop Talk.
Good evening, and how are you doing? It's good to be here again.
Thank you. Like we said, it's a sad issue that we're here to talk about, and but we like to look at the legal aspects and what can be done to prevent such issues in the future. But as it is on ground, I'd like to get your thoughts generally on what you've seen so far on the death of a 27-year-old promising artist who brought smiles and joy to a lot of people.
The thing is a failure of our entire system, the criminal justice system. The whole incident of Mr. Aloba Promise Oladimeji, also known as MOHBAD, is not a new scenario. There are unresolved murder cases from inception to date, and there are also killings done by state agents. There are persons enforced disappearance of persons. Why MOHBAD's issues a bit more is trending all over the world as it stands today is because of the precarious nature in which the grievous nature in which the death actually came about to him. And more importantly, before this time, he has already personally, I saw a trendy letter addressed to the Inspector General of Police for I think Lagos should be Zone 2, the Zone 2 command of Inspector, alleging and making complaints against some certain unscrupulous individuals, like a certain Sam Larry and Mr. Aziz Fashola, also known as Naira Marley, and making sundry allegations. But the aftermath of which we have always been saying is that we cannot keep this daily dying. This system with the police, they need to reform. Coming to the issue, what happened is that the other people from the little we were able to gather from the internet and friends and allies who were discussing about this issue, that they wrote a counter petition, and MOHBAD definitely, because of, like some of us, I've been a lawyer actively. I know sometimes when we make criminal complaints to the police, the fallout of such, the other person will make a counter complaint. There was even one peculiar one. The suspect made a complaint against us. The matter was hijacked. I now be a lawyer, me myself, who was not a lawyer to the complainant, became a suspect in the matter. We had to, if not for my status and how I've risen in recent times, I think that would have been, it would have gotten to some extent, I would have faced a false malicious imprisonment. So it's the same thing. I saw Mr. Moyelesore tweeting about the same issue, whereby people will make genuine complaints to the police. It will metamorphose into you who has made a genuine complaint to the police, alleging some very peculiar circumstances to you. It will turn into another thing whereby the police will not treat it. The other person will write a counter petition, and you now become a suspect. So this whole thing, we must find a balance. We must find a way out of this problem. I think, in all honesty, if the Nigerian police would have warred into this matter, however, what we have now are suspicions and allegations. For instances like this, the Coroner Law of Lagos actually provides for an inquest to ascertain the cause of death. Section 15 of the Coroner Laws of Lagos State, it actually provides an inquest into deaths that are not caused by natural sources, violent or mysterious death.
But what is needed to trigger this? Because, the police PROs have said before that sometimes they need you to come, the persons or people involved need to come to the station, file a complaint, and so on. So when you speak of this, what are the requirements necessary where it can come?
Let me address a question to the police PR. The first complaint Mohbad made to the Inspector General of Police, what is the outcome of that complaint?
But they said he didn't come.
It's not that he didn't come. You don't need to, your presence. You know, that is not how it's done in other crimes. A person do not, once you feel a crime, there are suspicious ground or there are enough ground to carry out the investigation. That is the point we have been making, is that you must not arrest before you investigate. You investigate and arrest. This whole system whereby you need if somebody has made a genuine complaint and you find merit in that petition, you have a crack team, you investigate. You don't need that person. You don't need that person. Because, and why it is like that is because of the mistrust a lot of Nigerians, and when we tell them this truth, they see us as enemies. But we cannot be on this page. Cannot be on this page. And when we tell them, you people have to change your style and the way things are going. Because if he actually has confidence in the system, I believe Mr. Aloba Promise would have gone. He's even afraid that when he goes there, he too will be apprehended and kept in the gulag. And I feel that is the reason why he did not go. That is the reason why he did not go. In some instances where we have made genuine complaints to the police, a counter petition will come, they will tell us they are inviting us in the upper office. I tell my clients not to go.
Can the police claim plausible deniability that, well, we did our best, he did not do his part?
There's no, in my own view, legally, I don't think there's any excuse for that.
But going back to what you spoke about, the coroners and all that, what is necessary for that to kick
Yes, it is an inquest. It's an inquiry. It's like an autopsy procedure. To actually know, in murder cases, they need to know what actually, because one of the ingredients of murder is that the person is dead. And the accused act or omission must have led to the person's death. Theory is that the accused act or omission that led to the person's death must be intentional. That is the whole, by section 341 of the Criminal Code law of Lagos State. That is how murder is defined. So they need to actually do an inquiry. And that is why the coroner law actually provides for the autopsy, to actually know what led. If it's a natural cause, I'm very sorry to all the sympathizers and everybody on the internet, this will be the end of the investigation. But if the inquiry into as its cause of death is actually ascertained to be violent or natural sources, there will be need for an in-depth forensic and expounded investigation. So the coroner system is very important. An inquest, autopsy is very much important.
Well, has it come to play in this situation yet?
It has been activated. The panel set up by the police, that is the first thing they said they are doing. And I heard what Governor Sanwo-Olu actually said again, that he's going to mandate a special team from the DSS to also look into the issue as to the investigation, to beef up. I don't know. I really don't know his motive for that, but I think I can guess, and I think he wants the investigation to be very elaborate. The truth is that we must keep telling the system the truth. The police, I pray they get better. I pray they get better.
I think that's an idea that a lot of people are trying to get across now. It seems that this issue really took off when there were threats of protests and threats of people have actually already started protesting. So I'd like your thoughts on how you think police PROs should handle cases, because we saw at some point where Mr. Adejobi wrote about how it's not just about social media and so on and so forth. You know, do you think these things have any effect on how people react?
You know, the police PRO is not doing a very good job at all, with all due respect to him. And I personally, I stick with the view of Femi Falana, who has insisted that the IG should do away with him. And I feel I second that opinion, that he has made some statement recently that has not actually gone down with a lot of us from the other side, who are in the passive and active civil society. And so you don't need people to come forward to carry out an investigation. The police have everything. I'm telling you, it's when they want to work, they work.
Can they work with what is available on social media?
No, the truth about that is, Actually, suspicions and allegation, they do not constitute an offense. But the world we are is actually scientific and computerized. They can actually go by, this MOHBAD'S issue. I feel a more discreet investigation is very important, so that where evidence are lying, the essence of criminology is pointer. Evidence point to this, it points to that, and it points to this. So I don't even think so much of people coming to give statement and narrative actually change the pattern or the potency of the investigation or how it should be. I don't feel so. I feel a discreet investigation. Honestly, if I was the governor of Lagos State, or I was the handlers of this issue, or I was personally the lawyers to the MOHBAD'S family, Aloba, I think I will seek the services of the DSS. I have confidence in the DSS. I have full confidence. They are very, very detailed and good in investigation like this. They will get to the very root of the matter.
But is this within their scope?
It can actually, investigation can be done by anybody. Prosecution is limited by an act. So it doesn't change anything. They can investigate, but I doubt whether they have the device or the requisite power to prosecute. They can forward the file to the DPP, who will return with all the evidence they've gathered, file his charges and go on. But for now, I think everything we are still having legally is all speculation. It has led nowhere. Till when that inquest, the Corona Law, Section 15 has been activated, that is when we can say this is actually the cause of death. Then things will come up from there.
I remember saying a tweet the other day about how this cannot in any way end as death by natural causes or inconclusive or thereabout. Is that fully written off? I know it appears as though there's suspicious circumstances to his death. But is there any scenario in this way it ends that, well, he just died and it wasn't...
And that is why the autopsy, the inquest, and what will be done as regards this issue, as regards the activation of the Corona Law, that is why to be conducted. And if it's a cause of a natural medical condition, then we just have to accept our fate. But with the insinuations and pointing of fingers and allegations on the internet, we just have to wait for the outcome of what the coroner says. And if he says it was a natural cause, then we don't know. But if it's not a natural cause, then investigation will be carried out.
So what would you say is the ideal process or trajectory of this matter?
The inquest.
I'd like to get particularly as regards the people who have been fingered or who have allegations against them. We have the mention of the former Labour boss who initially complained about that he let people beat him. We have Sam Larry, who we've seen on video actually assaulting the deceased.
Some of the things they've committed,
so to speak.
The allegation now is either attempted murder or murder. And
attempted murder? How do you mean?
Yeah, if they are saying, they are pointing fingers that the cause of MOHBAD'S death is not natural, that means murder has been committed on him, or in worst case scenario, an attempt to murder him. If we want to go by insinuations and pointing of finger. But you see, criminal matters are very sensitive. They are compoundable, they are large, and it's proved beyond reasonable doubt. It's beyond the talk on social media. Social media is not the best place to conduct investigations as to crime. You have to build your evidence. Eyes will be dots. Analysis will be done. For someone like me, I've been involved in several criminal cases, and I know the bottom, I know the up. I have a little experience of the down or the middle of how it is, that sometimes a little mistake might cause the whole thing to crumble. So I feel, by virtue of Section 36, even when anyone is accused of anything, he still is joined by the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution. By virtue of Section 36, CFR, that's the Constitution of the Federal Republic of 1999 as amended in 2011, there is this presumption of innocence on that person. And a case law, Kwalu versus State, you cannot take any step against that person. As far as within the realm of presumption, it's only when you have taken him to a law court and he has been convicted, he's deemed to be a criminal. He's presumed, he enjoys liberality, he enjoys fairness, he enjoys presumption of innocence. So I think for now, it's just insinuations and allegations. Till when, even when eventually they are linked up with the crime, they are still defendant and suspects. They are not yet criminals, pure criminals per se. So, and you know, complex matters like this, it involves real complex solutions. So everything that is ongoing for now are just insinuations.
All right,
whatever the talk it is, but I think for Naira Marley, I think there's more to it. This is somebody who's having a very, I don't want to compromise the case he's having with the EFCC at the Federal High Court in Lagos State, but I think the authorities should pay a close eye to all these events that are unfolding.
Someone who's an NDLE ambassador, so to speak.
I don't think he's an ambassador.
Yeah, the NDLE did say
whatever he, you know, this is someone who's actually going through prosecution by the same federal government. Federal government is one. Whether NDLEA, all of them submit to the AGF. And so, I don't know.
Being under investigation or court case. Prosecution.
The word is prosecution.
Under one agency.
And seeing with the NDLEA boss, I find it very discomforting. And it's a pity stage. Allow this man finish his trial. If the court presume him to be fully innocent, then because it reads a lot of meanings. It reads a lot of meanings. It gives people another view as to what is happening. It reads a lot of meaning.
What do you think about the, you know, what we've been talking about is the law and, you know, the courts. But what about the courts of perception or social media?
You know, the
as we speak about, I believe at the last count, about 500,000, or is it 50,000? I'm not sure. Followers of Naira Marley, I think it's about 50,000 or so, have, you know, unfollowed him. And we've seen cases where promoters are said to have dropped him and his colleagues from certain shows and so on and so forth. What do you make of that whole
You know, my own take on Naira Marley, I've never liked him as a person. What his influence on the young people and the youth, where they don't wear bets, I don't like him. And more particularly for some of us who actually defended some NSAS protesters. You know, in the heat of all this problem, during the 2020, if you can have a very clear memory, you know Naira Marley came out and supported SARS. If you could remember, that's to show you that he does not have the mind. And you know, he also had a live Facebook interaction with the then police force PRO in Francoba. Hope you could remember. So that's to show you the kind of personality Naira Marley is. No doubt about it. From what we see from the internet, he's close to the system. But however, the allegations now, and by reason of that complaint, Aloba Promise, MOHBAD wrote before he died, there is an allegation against him. I still feel criminal complaint does not actually expire or lapse immediately. I still feel that complaint still pending before the police. They should please investigate it. I sincerely believe they should not let it go, throw it out of the gulag. They should please investigate.
Well, let's talk about the issues leading up to his death or thereabout. Issues of contracts and entertainment. There were talks, MOHBAD, I believe the other day his team released that they're in court somewhere trying to get the full rights to his music and all of that. I like your thoughts on what's really going on in the entertainment industry, where we see a lot of artists end up disgruntled and leaving, and being very difficult for them to leave because of contracts they've signed, perhaps when they were younger and thereabouts. What do you think is really going on in the entertainment industry?
Is capacity and ignorance. If they have a vibrant and a lawyer who's good, I don't think they will fall into those problems they are facing through. If MOHBAD, from the inception, he had the lawyer with him when he entered into the Malia record. The terms and conditions are spelled out. I don't think his right will be trampled upon, in all honesty. And this is a call for entertainers. Before they go into contract, please consult your lawyers. Get a lawyer by your side. You can put him on retainer, but get a lawyer by. The problem is, where this whole entertainment problem, this one go, this one fight, this one, the royalties that ought to come to you is going to your former record label, is lack of acceptance agreement as to purpose and documentation. Yes, because the position of the law is that parta sunt servanda. Parties are bound by the terms of their agreement. So if in your erroneous impression, your ignoramus or your ignorance, you went to sign a document, it's still binding on you. So at the point of anything at all, I think the world is not a global village. Before you append your signature, no matter how big an incentive is, and a contract that is illegal, like a contract to go and supply fake drugs to Nigeria, is null and void ab initio. So if that is you have entered that in, consult your lawyer. He will go to court and repudiate that contract, because the law will recognize an illegal contract and declare it null and void.
Illegal on what basis, pardon?
Illegal, because the court does not give room to illegality.
Okay.
If you do a contract with somebody to go and push cocaine, we know that there are some certain drugs in Nigeria that have been stipulated to be within the meaning of the NDLEA Act to be narcotics. So when you do things like that, what do you expect the court to do is to declare it not.
Is that the only condition on which
there are so many conditions?
Can be
yes, there are so many. Natural disaster can vitiate a contract. Emergency can vitiate a contract. Lack of continuity can actually vitiate a contract. A contract that goes against extant laws, procedures, provisions of the constitution, existing statutes, those are contracts that can be set aside.
If the person can prove that while they signed the contract,
yes,
they were under some sort of influence,
the proof is so high. You have to actually demonstrate and describe to what extent it's so high. But the team, in order to save this nomenclature, sometimes get a sound lawyer who's good and vast in this field to guide you through this process. You can avoid some of these potholes, these slavish entertainers and record label are setting traps for young people who are having very bright future. You can save yourself that stress.
That's fair enough. So what about the issues of the harassment he faced, and a phenomenon we noticed recently, while some persons are actually trying to fight for justice for Mohbad, there have been talks, some sort of lingo and language being used. Some persons even use the word legally or illegally, we will get revenge. And then we're seeing some lingo that a lot of people know, or at least allege on the grapevine, means or refers to cultist language or cultist speak, so to say. And it's been something that a lot of even journalists in the music business are beginning to allege that there's a lot of that going on within music. But then again, it's presented as something that is just cool, when you wear it or you take the symbol. It's not really something, to be worried about. So I'd like to take it back now to legality, in case people have forgotten or the
consequences of the action.
Yes. What does the law say about cultism?
The law actually prohibits cultism to unlawful association, unlawful gathering, unlawful association. And there are some cult groups too that's not permissible. And more importantly, nobody should take laws into their hand. Whether you are big, whether you are mighty, allow the authorities, report to the authorities, let the police, the people who are charged with the internal security of Nigeria, let them do their work for them. Nobody is employed. Cultism in our side, it's actually one of the banes of our development, and it's not actually a good phenomenon, and mostly the youths, and so it's even important they will shun it, so that they can actually have a focus. And coming down to the issue, I think a lot is actually going in the entertainment and the music industry. I pray it doesn't lead to something, but I think things like this is just for a little time. American, you know, they used to have the East Side, West Coast, but you see now, it's a bit, it's calm. And so I think it's just a trend that will not really eat a lot of time. So it's just a recent trend, and with time, things will get better.
All right. I just like to circle back to the issue of PROs explaining that people involved need to, come and make complaints. In this scenario, let us assume that both parents, Mohbad's father and his mother, decide that, I don't think anything has gone wrong here. We're okay. Nothing has happened to our son. What happens then? I know Mohbad has a child, and he has. I don't believe he married her at the time, or he has a girlfriend, so to speak, a partner who he did not marry. So the question I really want to ask now is, who can call for justice at this point if those involved? Because there are a lot of speculations now that these persons are being targeted. We saw the other day the popular Instagram comedian Abiola visit the family and try to ensure that the father and mother speak in one voice, so that someone doesn't whisper to the dad, "I'll slip you some," and so on.
Yeah.
That if indeed there is something untoward going on. So in the case that these persons, this particular two people, his parents, say, "Well, okay."
In criminal matters, there are principal, necessary, sundry suspects, and the same thing with witnesses. Even if his father and mother choose to, and the state, the prosecution, the police, the investigating team and officers, they feel they are ingredients of alleged offenses, they can investigate in the absence of. Their father might not even be aware of what was happening. Their mother might not be aware. They can get it through allies, friends, and do that. That's why I said discreet investigation. We need to grow in Nigeria. This Mohbad's case, if it was in other advanced countries, 2 weeks they are done with investigation. Discreet investigation, they know it's because of our bane of development. And we will say we still have the best system. It's not. These things should not even. There's trust in the police in the US. There's confidence in them. But I don't know why this whole thing is going this way, zigzag. It's because of lack of mistrust. There's a sharp decline. The people don't trust the police. The police too, sometimes they don't help matters. So that is why there's a confusion. So that's basically it, sir.
All right. So finally, your last was an advice to all involved, perhaps the Mohbad's people, to the police, to the public who are watching and have a stake in this now.
Unfortunately, I never knew this Mohbad before this whole issue started. And one time I just took his music on my phone and I shared it to Tomoyo Story. So he just smiled, and it was not in the day he died. I was trying to get some of the music, and I said it was one of this music I love. I felt so pain. A promising young man. I want to advise it's a sensitive issue that we should be calm. We should encourage the authorities. People that have useful information, they should submit it to the authorities, the police, sensitive. I think there are platforms now where they are collating information as to what happened to him. They should see how genuine it is and ventilate their grievances. For those that have evidence that has to do with criminality done on Mohbad, they should be discreet about it. They should be careful and submit it to right sources of the police, where the evidence can be gathered, sieved, and put into practical and useful. For the parents of Mohbad, I send my commiseration to them. I send my sympathies. And there's no compensation for a lost life. If you've lost someone before, it's only God in heaven that can actually console the bereaved. And I pray, may God give them that fortitude to bear the loss. And to the Nigerian society, the system, I only pray that we should have a reform of our system. We cannot continue like this. We cannot continue like this. Our criminal justice, we need to live up to responsibility. We need to, because I can see the narrative of a lot of young people. They are really not happy on the death of Mohbad. And some of them are expressing their anger in peaceful protest. And so I think this is a clarion call for the authorities. I pray, in view of the renewal the presidency is actually showing, they should also renew their apparatus of security. They should protect, because that is the whole essence of why they are a security agency organization. They should do more. The DSS is doing fantastically well when it comes to investigation of like this. I pray the police draw a clue from the DSS and be better off, and other sister organizations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming.